Let's talk about separation anxiety. So regardless of whether you have one or more children, separation anxiety in toddlers is often a source of great stress for you as a parent. You always want the best for your child, so it can be heartbreaking when you see your little one crying as you leave, or even getting upset when being held by other people. Because there's a misconception that children should just easily transition to new experiences and new people, parents often incorrectly blame themselves for their child's separation anxiety, and this causes further anxiety and guilt down the track. You can feel bad that your child's crying, wondering whether you've done something wrong. But often it's a developmental issue, and it's an issue that needs to be addressed by a number of steps, which we're going to talk about in this presentation. The good news is that it's easy to follow steps that you can implement to aid your child through these transitions. And this process will also be much smoother if you can develop a good understanding of your child's temperament, which we'll go through as part of this 5-step process. So you might be thinking, what on earth does my child's temperament have to do with me helping my child to cope with anxiety? Well, this has everything to do with it, because research tells us that approximately 65% of children fall into one of 3 temperament characteristics, either slow to warm up, easy, or feisty. And each one of these temperament types responds very differently to new environments and to new people. So if you work out your child's temperament, you will then be able to assess the best way to deal with separation anxiety based on your child's temperament needs. So let's talk about these 3 temperament types. If you have a slow to warm up child, they usually take time to adjust to new environments and new people. So you have to ensure that this child has the same carer in childcare, for instance, or has the same kids there every time you go. So choosing similar days that you go. So make things as simple and similar as possible. If you have a feisty temperament child, they need very clear rules and boundaries and structure. They don't like change, and they thrive on very clear processes of transition. So you've got to keep routines as simple and as clear as possible, and this child will thrive in that environment. If you have an easy temperament child, as the name suggests, it's more easygoing and adapts well to change and new people. They don't find new environments so stressful, they will adapt much easier. Just be mindful to not always assume that the easy temperament child is okay. Often these children won't complain when things are wrong, so it's a good idea to keep checking in on them and making sure that they're not holding things inside and feeling distress without expressing their feelings. So in order to feel comfortable about leaving your child crying in someone else's care, you need to be comfortable about where you're leaving your child. So in the book Perfect Mum, we talk a lot about these 4 quadrants of parenting. And as long as you have these 4 quadrants, you're doing okay. So basically, the 4 quadrants are: is my child safe, secure, happy, and healthy? When you can answer yes confidently to these 4 questions, you're much more comfortable about the emotional aspects associated with separation anxiety in your toddler. For instance, when you receive images throughout the day from your childcare centre showing your child is happy playing, you'll feel comfortable that question 3, is my child happy, has been satisfied. So when you know you have these 4 quadrants under place, you can go, okay, well, even if my child's not coping and sad when I drop off, I know my child is safe, I know my child's in a secure environment, I know my child's happy and healthy, so I can feel okay. I know my child's going to be okay. So regardless of the child's temperament, your child is going to feel much more comfortable if you can try and keep things in a new environment as simple and similar as possible. So particularly when you're beginning a new childcare, start slowly if possible. Begin by attending the centre together a few times, then leave your child for maybe 1 to 2 hours and eventually build up to the required daycare length of time. Repeating the process several times will help your child to feel safe and secure being left somewhere without you. So again, we have to make sure the child is safe and secure and healthy and happy before we feel comfortable. It may seem obvious, but choosing an appropriate comforter can make the world of difference to your child's level of security. Choose a special toy your child can bring from home to provide familiar comfort throughout the day. You can also select a special toy your child likes at childcare. And that toy can be left at childcare, and every time they go there, that toy will be there to collect, and it's a special way of feeling comfortable when they walk in the door. You can talk about how exciting it will be to see your child's special toy again when you arrive, and then go together to collect the toy. This little routine can give your child something special to look forward to. Because you have been talking about it, the toy provides a comforting reminder of you, and they begin the day by having that nice thing to remember you by, a nice thing to feel comfortable, a nice thing to get excited about in the environment. We keep things as simple as possible, as similar as possible, and again, the consistency and routine helps your child to reduce the level of anxiety and drop off. Now, the last step involves avoiding dragging out that drop-off period. It can be very tempting to stay as long as possible to read some more books or give some more cuddles, but often this makes it harder for your child because they find the transition harder each time as they want you to stay longer and longer with them, cuddling more, reading more stories. So you can make sure that this is as quick as possible, a quick goodbye, a quick cuddle. You can tell your child, Mummy's coming back to pick you up when they leave. Then this is a way for them to help to understand that the transition will be quick and they will settle in much quicker if you don't drag that on as long as possible. So this helps the child to feel secure and to trust that everything's going to be okay. Then a pick up, if you like, that's a time to stay a bit longer and play or read some books, spend some quality time together once they've already had that day in that place, whether it be childcare, someone's home, at school, helping them to understand that everything's going to be okay. Now, this bonus tip is very important. If all else fails and your child is still showing signs of separation anxiety, you've tried to keep things consistent, you've tried to understand the temperament, you've tried to do a quick drop-off, and nothing seems to be working, then it's time to have a chat with the childcare place, the carer, the school, to find out what might be going on. Maybe there's another level of anxiety, something that's going on in the childcare that you're not aware of. So it's really important to rule that out if nothing else is working. And you can also consider your child in that environment. If you think that this is not the most appropriate place for your child, don't be afraid to change and go somewhere else. And when you go to the new place, make sure you have conversations about the fact that your child has been having separation anxiety and how can you do everything in your power and their power to help your child to feel the most comfortable. The most important thing is to help your child to feel at ease, that everything's going to be okay, and to make the experience fun so that they can build resilience and confidence in themselves as well. So if you'd like to learn more about calm parenting, about the Perfect Mum book, where we talk about all the quadrants and also your child's temperament, take a look at the Help for Mums website at www.helpformums.com. Have a great day.